Midweek Rub time. Bill Brownless and myself over here in Adelaide for the Great Mates debate we got to do tonight for Triple M listeners. But back in the Richard Marsland studios in South Melbourne, two of the best in the business. Former superstar full forward for the Hawks, Jason Dunstall, four-time premiership players in there, and the newsbreaker extraordinaire, Damien Barrett. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gents. It's wonderful technology, isn't it? Because we can actually see you on a screen. And,
I can only see purple.
That's all right. That's the way I want it. Bill, you don't come up any better on screen.
You obviously haven't got any mirrors or screens there because you are fatter and balder. Now,
what are you doing over there, JB? You're running away from all your problems over here.
Damo.
Purple.
Bang.
No, we've a long-standing commitment here in Adelaide to attend 500 people. Great Mate debate. I think it's a charity function they hold over here for Triple M.
Not for us.
No, exactly. So, no, we've had it booked in for about 6 to 8 weeks, Damo.
And you're still going to be North President this weekend? You're not going to heed the advice of a few columnists?
No, I'm not going to heed that advice, Damo. We are very solid in our convictions as to where the club's going. You know that because you've already asked me that question. And we'll also be very quick to put a process together to find the very best person to be the CEO of the club. My role with what I do, with all of us, on air at the moment, and being the chairman of a footy club, the edges of that get blurred seemingly weekly, and I never really understand it because, Damo, as you know, I've never hidden from the fact that this is what I do for a living. I don't call North Melbourne games anymore, but I still do the previews because I'm paid to do them. And after that, I just go and find a seat and watch the game.
What about the column here written by Caroline Wilson? The very nature of Eugene Arocca's departure demands that Brayshaw must now walk away as chairman of the Kangaroos. It's pretty strong stuff.
Yeah, and as I said off the top, Damo, I think that's an article that's been written for a year, and Caro's finger's just been hovering over the send button, desperate for something like this to occur, so she could hit send. I just think it's I don't understand why, because Eugene's resigned, we need to lose faith in the direction the club's headed in. I think it's, as Andrew Demetrio himself said this morning on another radio station, this club's performance off-field over the last year has been very strong, and I don't think anyone's got any problems with that.
Jim, would it be better for all concerned if you and Caro just kissed and made up?
Well, I don't think that's going to happen, Chief. I'm not her favourite person. I never have been. And, again, as I said off the top, her article today could have been summed up in one par. James Brayshaw should move on because I can't stand him. That sums it up.
It's pretty accurate.
I would have thought. So, look, we are, and, I don't want to get bogged down in this, and there's lots of other stuff to discuss.
We'll move on.
We do have very strong conviction from board level down at North Melbourne that we are heading in a growth, direction that's really exciting. Southern Tasmania is a huge part of that. So, growth areas in Wyndham and regional Victoria, and we're passionate about it, and we'll keep doing it, and we're doing it, I think, really well.
I think there's a good growth region in Bill's head by the look of it.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about lots of other things.
Who's that idiot? Speaking of you, Chief.
Yes, Bill.
They tell me you were very, very worried on Saturday when Buddy got the 13th and, at times there looked like he might kick 17 and beat your record.
No, I wasn't worried. I had it under control. I texted Clarko and he was immediately removed for a spell, Bill.
Have you been down there helping him with his kicking?
No.
No?
No.
Normally.
Chief, the bit I thought was amusing, I ran into Adam Simpson after the game, who I obviously have huge regard for.
Yep.
And I said to him, Simo, the funny bit about this is that over the last 4 or 5 weeks, Bud's had 15 shots at goal a game. He's just managed to kick 3 or 4 or 2 of them.
Yep.
Whereas this week he kicked 13. Is that fair to say?
Well, it perhaps hadn't had quite that many shots, but he was contributing well without actually getting the goals on the board. And I think Alistair Clarkson mentioned it in the lead up to the game. In the midweek presser, he said, "Look, he's not far off tearing a game apart." And unfortunately for your crew, Jim, you happened to walk into it.
Yeah, and he was unbelievable. If you were there and you saw it, it was quite extraordinary. He's a terrific player.
Best individual effort you've seen from one player?
In modern times.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to, of course, the great Chief, but, the Duck, who we're going to be at this thing with tonight, it was that sort of, Chief, I thought it was that sort of dominance.
Yeah.
Wayne Carey used to dominate games to the point where you felt like there was only one player on the ground.
Yeah.
And, Buddy on the weekend was just unbelievable. Nothing we could do. Moving on to the Blues, Damo, some good news for them. Matty Cruiser has re-signed, and Bryce Gibbs also.
Yeah, JB, I mean, two re-signings which were always going to happen, but there was a bit of interest in Cruiser, which came late in the piece. But, look, he was always going to re-sign. Gibbs was a virtually done deal before the negotiations even started. 3 years for Cruiser, as you say, 2 years for Gibbs. It's a good sign for Carlton. They've had a tough week. They're 6-4. They're by no means out of the race, but the injuries that are mounting, they've had a couple of meetings this week just to sort of get things back on track. It's a positive announcement, and I wouldn't be surprised if the announcement was made in this week where they do need a bit of positivity given what's been happening and being said about the place.
Are they happy with their coach, Damo? A little bit mischievous of Ed to weigh in, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was. And while he's saying he's taking that into context, he knows the ramifications when he makes a comment about another club's coach.
Now there's a media war between Andy Maher and Eddie McGuire,
Just before we get to that, because I want your thoughts on that, both of you two, because I haven't heard much of it. Big Stephen Kernahan, Damo, was very strong when he had his chance to have a crack at what Ed said.
We'll talk to the, I'd say, relatively extraordinary lengths of actually releasing a statement to his own club's website, which actually then was picked up by every media outlet, as happens these days. I think a lot of clubs wouldn't have bought into it, but it's not the first time, and Stephen Kernahan made note of that it was a repeat offence in his eyes from Eddie, and guys behind the scenes, Kernahan is absolutely furious at Eddie buying into it. Now, he's probably not going to say any more than what he's already said, but rest assured, it is a genuine anger.
Damo, I love the way he said, I've had to have this chat before, and I hope I don't have to have it again. I hope it's the last time.
Yeah, but stand by. If something will happen again, because they do play each other round 15.
Yeah.
Right. So stand by for that.
Talk to us about this other spat that's happened, you two, please, because we're on a plane over here this morning.
It's like an Alsatian taking on a Chihuahua if you read the reports, Damo, isn't it?
Well, Eddie had played back to him some comments made by Andy Maher on another station, and that was about the comments that he'd made the previous day on Stephen Kernahan, on Carlton, and opening up the possibility of Mick Malthouse. Now, again, Eddie said he's been taken out of context, and you do need to listen to it to get the full context. But as I said, Eddie knows the ramifications of him talking about another club's coach and Mick Malthouse in the same, at least, paragraph. And that was the issue, and I think you pointed out, Jace, that the boy, being Andy Maher.
Well, I think Andy called Eddie a loser, didn't he? And then Eddie said, well, the boy's not fit to carry my bags. And he said, I'm speaking to Usain Bolt after speaking to Asafa Powell, and he'll be taking calls from Con from Craigieburn for the rest of his life.
He did. And now Murray is a mad Carlton fan. He loves the Blues, always has been, and a mad Carlton fan. So he just said, butt out of it, Ed. And so Ed just fired back with that. Poor old Murray.
So, Damo, he's poked the bear.
I did, and it was off the cuff too, because I think they replayed it to Ed in the ad break. I don't think he had much warning on what was said. It was all very fresh. I mean, it was on in the 8:30 to 9 period of both programs, and it was relayed on both stations very quickly to each other. And Ed off the long run at short notice, and Sam Newman said he went a shade of puce down the line.
That's a significant cook, Chief, when you say that a person isn't fit to carry your bags.
And he also said, the boy's not fit to carry my bags.
All right, well, it's been very nice serving of the Midweek Rub. It's very nice of you two boys to drift in. What are you up to now, please?
Very quiet. Just going to go home and have a little bite to eat, Jim. Can we just suggest that Bill gets to a doctor to see about that swelling? I mean, your head just can't keep getting bigger like that, Bill.
Listen to the Chief.
It's like a hot air balloon.
I finished with a joke, Chief, and I'd like your support here, okay?
Otherwise, we have to bring Plastic Bertrand in, Chief.
Yeah.
Have you got him over there in Adelaide?
Yeah, I think we find him.
You ready? Chief, you ready?
Yes, Bill.
Did you hear about the man who was rushed into surgery this morning after 6 toy horses were found up his bottom?
Oh, no.
Oh, Bill, please no.
Doctors have described his condition as stable.
Actually, that's not bad.
I like it.
That's actually not
play
bad.
some music. Here go.
Doctors have described his condition as stable.
I don't actually mind.
Can you hear the tumbleweeds, Bill?
Chief, laugh. That's
Chief,
got some
you
humour.
laugh at nothing.
Tumbleweeds.
You laugh at nothing, Chief.
I'm laughing at your moon head.
That one,
dancing. You don't even know the words.
Come on,
You
Bill.
ready, Chief?